Hello and welcome back to the Rosrate podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by Ape Nutrition. Ape Nutrition specialize in ketogenic products. For those who haven't heard of the ketogenic diet, that's a high fat, high protein, very low carb diet with the goal of putting your body in a state of ketosis where it burns fat and ketones instead of glucose, and it's meant to have all of these benefits. Ape Nutrition do this delicious keto bar. Myself, I have probably never been in ketosis my entire life. I love carbs far too much, but I really like this bar. And I like keto products in general because I know that they're going to have very low carbs and very low sugar. So when I don't want to have sugar, for example, before I go to bed, I have high protein, high fat. These bars hit the spot perfectly. For other people who are on low carb diets, or even for people who are trying to get into ketosis, trying to follow a ketogenic diet, these bars are very good. The guy who runs the company is keto, and he tests himself before or after. They check your blood levels, eats the bar, still in ketosis, so he knows that it works. You should check them out. It's apenutrition.co.uk. Check out their Instagram, which is ape_nutrition. And as always, I can give you a discount. Use code word RosBaryApe and get 10% off. Go check them out. I really like the taste, and yeah, they're good stuff. So check it out. Today I am joined by Lucio Lagarto Rodrigues. Lagarto is an incredible grappler, a multiple-time European champion, a UAE Jiu-jitsu Federation world champion. He has an amazing story coming over from Brazil to Europe and the UK. He battled and defeated cancer and went on to continue to compete at the highest level. A really incredible story. I've been wanting to get Lagarto on for a very long time. He's a very inspirational person, and yeah, it was a real pleasure to sit down and chat with him. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoy listening. Check it out. Awesome, man. Firstly, thank you very much for being here.
It's my pleasure, Daniel. It's been a while, huh?
It's been a little while, hasn't it? But it's good to see you again. I don't think, since the first time I trained with you, I don't think you've changed at all in probably like 8 or 9 years. I think I've changed a lot more.
Yes.
I look a lot older than you.
Yeah, no, you got stronger.
I was just saying to you before we started recording, and I definitely said it on this podcast before, the first time I rolled with you. And I remember it like, this was 2011, I think, before ADCC. And I remember we started rolling, and I grabbed onto your wrist and I stopped and I looked down because I wasn't looking at it. I looked down because I was positive I'd grabbed onto like your bicep or something. Your wrist was so thick that I was positive that I'd grabbed onto like your upper forearm or bicep. And I looked down, I'm just on your wrist. I'm like, this is going to be a long round for me.
Many years, trying to choke people, make their wrists a little bit stronger. Yeah.
Do you know what I want to start with actually? Okay. Let's start off with the name, Lagarto. Okay.
Cool.
Who gave you the name?
Well, back in Brazil, people like to give nicknames to everyone.
Everyone's got a nickname.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
And it was Márcio Feitosa. He looked at me and said, man, this guy seems like something really weird. I don't really know what is that. He seems like some cartoon from, I don't know what's that. Then end up as he looked at me and said, yeah, he's a lizard.
Okay.
He's a Lagarto, and everybody just started to call me Lagarto.
Just straight away like that?
Yeah.
What belt were you when you got?
I was purple belt.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, people think, oh, it's such a cool nickname.
Yeah.
It's not really when you're a teenager back in Rio de Janeiro and people start to look at you and call you Lagarto. And they goes, why your nickname is a Lagarto? Because he seems like a Lagarto. Look at him,
It sounds cool, though. I think in English, like Lagarto, and it's so funny when your nickname becomes so, like it's such a part of you where you're not even Lucio. It's just Lagarto, right?
Exactly. Yeah. My father called me Lagarto,
Okay. I think Lagarto is a pretty cool one. Lizards are quite cool. But what would you say is the worst nickname of anyone?
Ooh, Jesus. You have a lot of, terrible ones,
Yeah. Because I heard one, I can't remember what it was. You might be able to remind me. Someone at Rogers used to be called, and I can't remember what the name was, but the translation was... it's something that we don't even have a word for in English.
Yeah.
It's the liquid.
Exactly. I gave that nickname.
What is it?
Yeah. Shurumi.
Shurumi. Do you want to tell everyone what that means?
Yeah, churume is the bean water, you know, that the disgusting water.
It's the water from out of a bin.
Yeah, it's terrible. And, you know, that come from nowhere. It's,
what did the poor guy do
Oh, Jesus.
to be named something that vile?
To be honest, I even forgot his name, you know. I just call him Churume since now.
That's it, Churume, yeah.
Yeah, he's a very cool boy from São Paulo, you know, very technical, good looking boy, but that doesn't really, we don't really care about it. We're gonna find a way, you know. And then every day I see the guy, he was the only one, he was finished the training and he didn't have a shower.
Oh, okay.
And I said, man, come on, you don't shower after training? No, I shower at home.
Yeah.
And then I got one for this, you know, the pen used to mark the cards.
Yeah.
And then I make like a dot on his back, and he didn't notice, right? And the next day, he come in the morning, and as soon he trained in the evening, and the next day he come back to train in the morning, and he still have that black dot on. So I said, man, did you have a shower when you got home? Yes, of course, nice one, super good, and relaxed. And I say, that's no true, or Churume, and that's it. To become, you know, he become the Churume guy.
Is that the worst nickname? That's got to be the worst.
No, have terrible ones. Have, you know, like, well, you see, like, the boy fighting in UFC, like Shoe's Face, cara de sapato, you know.
What's the nickname?
Shoe Face.
Oh, Shoe Face. Yeah, who's
that? The one who's fighting the UFC. I forgot his name. I just call him cara de sapato all the time.
Shoe Face.
Yeah, Shoe Face. You know, like Bochecha, you know, if you think about
okay, so Bochecha is a bubble gum, right?
No, Bochecha is like big cheeks.
Okay, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like it was a bubble gum, and he kind of had big cheeks, so it looked like he was a bubble gum. Okay,
because
he used to be a chubby kid, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You know, have terrible ones. You know, my friend, you know, he lives in America now, Rice, and the people say, oh, he get really mad. Probably he gonna get mad again because I explained his nickname. But I love you, Arroz, anyway, so forgive me. So Arroz, they mean when Brazilian people call you Arroz is because you never just eat rice, right? You eat rice if something else, right? So arroz, we call people arroz when they just are around the girls all the time, but they never submit the case, you know. So when the guy is just around the girls, but they never, that was not the case because Arroz now, my friend, have a beautiful academy back in Chicago, and also a beautiful family, is married now, but that time, you know,
back in the day,
he was really good for the, not just for the girls, but the whole neighborhood. He keep everyone together. And the Gracie Barra always have some funny word, but he got that nickname.
He never got the girls.
He
eventually
he was around, you know. He was good. That's what he used to say. But
okay. Anyway, dude, I've really been looking forward to having you on the podcast and chatting to you because I know that you have a really awesome story and you know, you've been so successful in grappling, also been a massive part of UK grappling as well. So as always, let's just start at the beginning. I know that kind of you had the lucky situation of your family were already in the martial arts, so you didn't find martial arts kind of afterwards. You were already, your dad did karate.
Yes, correct.
And he was a high level karate guy.
Yes, my father, he used to train a lot of karate. I grew up seeing my father training before I go to work every day since babe. Yeah. And also my mother, both was karate athletes.
Oh, really?
Yes. And my grandfather, he used to train in jiu-jitsu. He had the opportunity to train.
Japanese jiu-jitsu?
No. Well, in Brazil, that's really interesting, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
In Brazil, we don't have the other jiu-jitsu.
It just doesn't exist?
Doesn't exist.
Okay.
We don't know the traditional jiu-jitsu. I never see it in my life. I never heard before.
Yeah.
Just
so like, I imagine the first time you came out of Brazil, when people are going, this is jiu-jitsu, you're like, that's not jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, no, exactly. The people say, I remember a friend of mine, he moved here and say, after 6 months to live here, he asked, Lagarto, what BJJ means?
Yeah.
I say, well, it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah. I say, Jiu-Jitsu from Brazil. They say, but what's that? I say, no, man, they have to explain here everything because they have the traditional Jiu-Jitsu and all that. So in Brazil, when they talk, we just talk Jiu-Jitsu. What do you do? Jiu-jitsu. And yeah, my grandfather, he used to train jiu-jitsu, BJJ or Gracie Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. he must have been one of the early.
Yes, he used to train. I think he have some contact with Rickson Gracie, like in the army times and all that time.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And he was really into the Gracie Jiu-jitsu since very young. And then when I was 5 years old, no, son, you cannot train punch and kicks. You have to defend yourself properly. You need to do jiu-jitsu, Then he used to show me, but I didn't want.
You just wanted the punch and kick?
Yes, I want to be like, that time was, I want to be like Van Damme,
Yeah.
Tie my legs on the tree, pull, One time, my brother, he tied my leg.
Did you actually do it?
Yes, I did. I tied my foot on the tree and asked my brother to pull, and my brother was, no, I don't want, I want to play video game, And he eventually, okay. Then he pulled all the way, spread my leg. I was like a ballerina, like this. And he tied the rope at the bottom and left me there for a good 20 minutes.
No.
Yes, and I was screaming. And eventually, my friends come and let me go. Man, I could not walk for a good week.
Did you get your revenge back on your brother?
Well, I tried, but it was running. Eventually, I got him.
So I guess because you saw your parents both doing karate, is there any reason why your dad didn't train jiu-jitsu, or one of your parents? I don't know which of your dad's dad or your mum's dad was the one that did jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. Why didn't they do jiu-jitsu as well? Why did they go to karate?
That's interesting. I believe my father used to do a lot of capoeira.
Okay.
And his business partner, back in Brazil, used to do a lot of boxing. And he never really had, he always wanted to train, but he didn't really have the friends around who could
to do jiu-jitsu?
Do jiu-jitsu, Just his father talk about all the time. But then, when I started training, when I started taking super serious, I was a little bit older. I was around 12, 13 years old. That's when he started training, and the whole academy.
Your dad started training jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, we started training together.
Oh, awesome!
Yes, and
That's
it was
really
so
cool.
interesting because that time I used to train with my first professor. His name was Carlos Augusto, and it was in a freguesia in Rio de Janeiro. And my father, he used to come, and that was the event of the day.
Really?
Yeah, the son against the father. Every day. My father with his big belly. Come on, I want to see you escape from... His favorite position is took me from full guard, you know?
Okay.
Come on, escape. Yeah.
So how old were you when you started training jiu-jitsu?
I start training a little bit younger, but I cannot even count that because I was not take serious, as 12, 13 years old, between 12 and 13, that's when I start to take serious.
That's quite young to start taking it seriously, isn't it?
Exactly. But I have a contact since very, very young.
You were running around on the mats from 5, 6 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. And then I know that, so I've heard that obviously we were talking earlier, you were big into surfing as well. What sort of age did you start surfing?
Yeah, same age. It's a big thing in Rio de Janeiro.
Everyone surfs.
Yes, everyone surfs. It's part of the, most of the jiu-jitsu guys surf.
Yeah.
It's part of the culture.
Yeah.
So that's
how we get the Jacare, right?
Exactly.
It's the jiu-jitsu thing, but it's
Exactly.
a surfing thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually very hard for me to live in London because my whole life I had this surfing and training jiu-jitsu and surfing. That's the lifestyle, So Master Rickson, many times we surf together, we talk about it,
With
life,
Rickson? Oh, wow.
We become, that's a beautiful story actually because when I was a young boy, I always look Rickson, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. The samurai Rickson, all this. And then all of a sudden I become his friend.
How did that come about?
Because I have a place in Prainha, in Rio de Janeiro.
Uh-huh.
That is a place where it's a very local place where people just go for surfing, and Rickson was there all the time, but I was all the time people got into him, try to speak with him, take picture or whatever, and I was one of these guys that I always knew Rickson was there, but I didn't have the approach. I didn't know how to get it close to him. I didn't want to look stupid, I didn't want to also disturb him when he was like on his relaxed timing, all this. But once when I start to compete, when I start to travel the world, and I started getting close, and one day he come to me. And
he came up to you?
Yeah, he come to, oh, what's up, Lagarto? That was a mind-blowing for me, and I was so happy, And so, Master, how you do? And then he allowed me to get closer, and then we start, to surf together. We talk about jiu-jitsu, we talk about different points of view in such positions.
Yeah.
That was so interesting. We had the chance, one day we went to his house, and then we make the watermelon juice the Gracie way, and he taught me. Then we went to study positions, specific trainings.
Wow. Just you and him?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That must be like he's a mythical character in jiu-jitsu now. He really is like he has a true aura around him, really like if anyone could transcend the human form in jiu-jitsu, Rickson Gracie is that guy. So to be able to hang out with him and to learn from him must be like an insane experience, because I'm sure it would have felt the same. Yeah,
it's amazing. Like as I said, I grew up watching Rickson.
Yeah.
And then when you see this guy, where you can say he's your friend, when you have him in your WhatsApp and you send message for each other, is such a beautiful thing, especially because I grew up, I had the chance to grow up in the side of Carlos Gracie Jr., Carlos Gracie, so I was not really into the other side of the family.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I managed to see both sides.
Yeah.
And I was really, really grateful about it.
Yeah. Did you ever you got to roll with Rickson?
Yes.
How was
that? I never really, like, the roll with Rickson doesn't go like shake hands and go. It's a specific training, I don't want to, I never really, people say, how was the training?
Yeah.
So I remember one thing we did, like, for example, he said, okay, let's start from stand up here, Lagarto. Pushing me, and my challenge was trying to unbalance him. Okay, so if I managed to unbalance him, I could go for his leg, I could push him back, I could push him to the side, whatever. If I managed to unbalance him, I would win the specific training, but I couldn't.
Really?
Yes. And they said, no, come on, try different now, try a little bit harder now. Then I couldn't. Then he showed me why it was not working. And that was the whole mindset. And I train a lot of, wrestling, I train a lot of things, but the mindset behind the concept that I didn't think about, and it was so simple, I was like, wow, so good. Okay, let's go to the floor here. So he always choose the
very
top.
Specific.
Very specific, especially now, because, and bear in mind, he was like, we just surfed like for 2 good to 3 hours.
Yeah.
We come straight from the beach. He's on his, he's way older and have his back problem, Before surf, he was doing a lot of mobility,
stretching,
gymnastica natural, a lot of things before I go to the water. And I still, we still managed to go to the mat and have a good time together, But yes, he just break down the specifics, the specific training. And it was really fun. I always get something. It was always that fulfills so much. That was amazing.
That's incredible. Yeah, just like, do you still talk to Rickson much?
Yeah, well, we talk all the time. I keep trying to push him to go to Indonesia so he could surf.
So you can surf.
Yeah.
How old's Rickson now?
That's a good question. I don't really know how old.
50s?
Yes,
late 50s.
Yeah, late 50s. Yeah,
wow.
But he looks young boy.
Yeah.
The thing is, I remember on a very tough time in my life, and I was in Prainha, and I was like, oh, man, my whole family there in Rio de Janeiro. My all my friends, you know. And I just said, you know what? It's been very hard for me to live in Europe by myself. I give up, you know. I just gonna start. I don't want to live in Europe anymore. I just gonna, I just go back, you know. And then I went to Rio de Janeiro. I went to Prainha. That was the last day. And then somehow, then that day didn't have any wave, and I was there, just staring at the ocean, you know, recharge myself and put all the thoughts together. What I should do, what I should not do, if I should come back to UK, if I should not. And then all of a sudden, Rickson just come up, you know, in the car
Sounds
park.
Like a movie.
Yeah.
Just, you're sitting there and then this figure just arrives.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Then he just come into the car park, and it was so fun. He parked his car just beside my car, and I didn't need to say anything. He just looked at me and say, so you're going back soon, right? Like I said, yes, soon. Then I said, how you feel about it? Then I told him, you know, how I was feeling. Then he was listen, I know exactly how you're feeling right now. But think about everything you built up until now. And the life we think we have to do everything right now. You know, the world's going so crazy, so fast. We think we have to do this now. Prainha always going to be Prainha. Your friends, the real friends, always going to be here as, you know, you're going to speak with them after 2-3 years. It's going to feel like yesterday, the real friends. Then he mentioned, listen, don't do what I did. I left everything behind and I moved to Brazil in the wrong time. Do the things properly. Go back to UK, get a passport, organize your academy, give time to a student, give love to them, and then one day, if you feel you want to move here, you're gonna move a better, you know, structure. You're gonna move in the right way. And that was like, I think I was just needed that push, you know, even though I knew that what I want to do, but I was needed that extra.
You need someone
push,
there to say that you. Yeah.
Then, that was really kind of him, you know, and that's helped me so much, and was the best thing I could do, you know. Like I got my passport was one of the best days of my life.
Yeah.
You know, when I got my British passport, and was one of my dream. The dream become true, you know.
Wow, that's awesome, man. But going back to the surfing,
yes,
as I was saying, the story that I had heard was that you weren't allowed to surf until you had trained or fought someone.
Yes, that was because back in Brazil, we grew up with that idea that the jiu-jitsu protect yourself, okay? So I remember when I come into the jiu-jitsu and start to show the jiu-jitsu, my father, lapels here, chokes here, there. They start, okay, cool. Put me a guard in the carpet at the house, you know? They start to punch me. Come on, escape from here. That doesn't work. You see, it was such a weak, you know, and they have to use jiu-jitsu to, you know, to protect myself. And he was really punching me, you know? 120 kilos. I'm a teenager, you know, and really punch. I have to learn how to block, you know, to use my knees to do a jiu-jitsu how it's supposed to be. And my father, he used to challenge all the strong guys around during the week. So
he just want to fight everyone.
No, not him, me.
Oh. So he was challenging people on your behalf.
Yes, exactly. So he challenged he just passed by and sees some strong guy as a builder and said, listen, do you think a tough guy? Yeah, like proper Gracie way, you know, like when the Gracie moved to US.
Yeah.
And then they say, you think a tough guy? Yeah, okay, cool, listen. I have a teenager son. He's a very skinny boy, very weak. And I guarantee you cannot beat him up. And the guy said, really? Okay, when? The weekend. And then, like every weekend he was, organizing some of these fights. They say, Dad, I want to go surf. Because my father was super worried about to let me go to stay too many hours on the beach.
Okay.
For a few reasons.
Yeah.
First of all, he was scared of the sea.
Your dad was?
Yes.
Really?
Because he saw a lot of his friends dying.
Drowning.
Drowning. And second, the community of the surfers, they smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah.
And he was scared I'm going to get into drugs.
Yeah.
And third, because he wanted me to study. He didn't want me to spend so much hours on the beach and don't study. So he was trying to hold me somehow, And I said, okay, you need to clean the garden.
Yeah.
Then, okay, I have to clean the garden. Okay, Dad, I finished. Can I go surfing? No, now we need to fight. Then he tried to get as many guys as possible. And I was like, man, geez. Then I said, okay,
how old were you at this point?
I was quite old at that time, like 15.
Okay, not that old.
Yeah, but it was nice. But then what I realized was like all the time I was fighting for the guys. You have mats at home at that time. And I was always the same story. I pretend I'm going to punch the guys, double leg, the guy sprawl, face on the floor, go to the back and choke them.
Yeah.
And as soon as I choke, the guy tap 3 times. Okay, you got me. Then start again. Then the guy give his life again, This. I said, you know what? I need to squeeze these guys a little bit more.
Yeah.
I need to make a little bit scary, Otherwise, I have to fight them over and over again. So then I start to get the rear naked choke. Then I make sure I get the back and do the sprawl chicken. So they have the hands.
Okay, yeah. So
face
they're
down.
they're belly down. Would you call it the sprawl chicken?
The sprawl chicken. Yeah, we know when they put the hooks up. We call that in Portuguese espalha frango.
Okay.
So if you translate, it's like
sprawl chicken. Yeah.
The sprawl chicken, then poof. I keep them flat and I choke them. They cannot tap.
Okay.
But I knew, the time to let it go, and I put the guy to snore a little bit. Then the guy get freak out, and I let it go. The guys have eyes like that, and
they didn't want to fight again.
They didn't want to go again. Okay, here you go. Okay, they say, do you want to go again? No. Okay. So my father was just, okay, cool. Do you want to train jiu-jitsu now? He was just want to bring people into the jiu-jitsu life,
So he was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. One,
exactly.
He stopped you from going to the beach too early.
Exactly.
And then 2, he got other people to train jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
That was like quite a theme for the early days of recruiting jiu-jitsu, wasn't it? Which was, I'm going to make you train jiu-jitsu by beating you up with jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
They used to do it a lot.
Yes.
That was kind of almost the business model for the Gracie. Early on, it was like, we're going to beat the crap out of you, and then you're going to want to do what we're doing so you can beat up other people.
Exactly. That's, I think there is no better way to prove for some guy who thinks he's a super tough that he's not. That the guy have to leave the ego at the door.
Yeah.
And but in the same time, that was not really smart.
No.
Because you can hurt people, and that's why we believe now in the jiu-jitsu for everyone, That's why I don't agree when someone getting the belts and you hit them with the belt.
Yeah.
We used to do this in the 90s, but that was the jiu-jitsu for few, just few people.
Yeah.
You have to survive against that system.
Yeah.
And then if you survive,
hostile. It was hostile.
Exactly. We are welcome to the community. But I remember the Gracie Barra back in the time, on the outside was like, we have that little rug outside to clean the foot before step on the mat, and was like, gringo, you're not welcome,
Yeah.
We call gringo everyone who is
not from,
outside, not from Brazil. And
that was Gracie Barra.
Yeah, that's Gracie Barra, like
the main one in Barra.
The main one, Barra da Tijuca. We talk about it, that place, and man, that and then Carlinhos, my master, Carlos Gracie Jr., realized, man, that's not the way.
It's not smart.
That's we're not what my father is saying. Carlos Gracie always told me that the world would be a better place if everyone does jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And if that approach, that will not work. If we walk here, my brother, all day in the street, up and down, we're going to bump into one guy that is going to survive against that environment.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna meet up family people. We're gonna meet up people for health issues. We're gonna meet up. We're gonna bump into a lot of girls, a lot of kids. So what that means, that kids and those girls and those family guys, they cannot train jiu-jitsu. They cannot be good. So if that's why if all the system of a Gracie Barra, all the curriculum, all the things that we implement, we put in 800 schools around the world, that now we can, spread the jiu-jitsu for everyone.
Yeah. Do you know what the origin of the belt whipping was? Do you know who first did that?
I don't really, I cannot tell you who was the first one, but that was very common back in Brazil.
Yeah.
Was like a joke. It was like, to mess around with your friends.
Yeah.
For example, remember myself, Rodrigues, Buiu, bless Buiu. Buiu, you have heard about Buiu. Buiu was like, he used to live in the streets around Rio de Janeiro. And he all the time, he used to hang out for the people from Gracie Barra.
Yeah.
Very lovely boy. And one day, he and Carlinhos, he have the chance to start to live under Carlinhos' umbrella, And Buiu today is a black belt.
Wow.
Has his school, Kleber, Professor Kleber, and is a very good human being, But anyway, Buiu in that time, we used to tie Buiu with the belts.
Yeah.
And we need everyone against Buiu because he was so strong in that time, Yeah. Also, you say, boy, that's no fair. You used to tie the boy. It was not just Buiu. Carlinhos' son, Kyron,
yeah.
We used to do the same. He was not the little boy. He was, all the time you tie him when Carlinhos was not around.
Yeah.
And, and then sometimes all the kids get it together and everybody like against one big guy, that.
Yeah.
But, times change.
Yeah.
We need to improve with the time. We cannot get stuck on time, fighting with, like in the 90s also was very common people from Luta Livre fight for jiu-jitsu guys in the street all the time.
Yeah.
So what that means, I need to go to Fulham back home now and fight for the guys on the street.
Yeah.
The times change, it's a different setup, it's a different mindset. We need to evolve as a human beings, right?
It's like the sport is maturing.
Exactly, as I was saying now, my biggest challenge now, people say, Lagarto, I'm just 38 years old now, and people keep asking, did you retire? I say, at the moment in the competition, yes.
Yeah.
But there is so many things that I can still do to add into people's life with jiu-jitsu. That's endless. I feel like so selfish if I keep just giving that feeling for myself. I want to give that feeling to my godson, to my wife, to my students, If I keep and just think about myself as a competitor, I'm never going to be able to give. That's one of the most beautiful things in life.
Yeah.
When you're giving, you get so much back. Now, I know I'm so happy because I look into my school now. I have a huge team of girls. A lot of girls training there. That gives such a beautiful touch as a family. I have a lot of like Muslim girls training. That's, I think, that the cutest thing in the world. When the girls, like, they know how to protect themselves when they are part of the family. When I have like little Shafina, that's one of my students, that she's a Muslim girl and very tiny, and I see her doing guard against big guys, and the big guys asking her questions.
Wow.
That's put tears in my eyes. Do you know what I mean? That's fulfilled my heart so much. And I think that our journey, it's if you wake up every day and you just look after ourselves, you waste time in life. If you're not adding people's life every single day and put their head in the pillow, what did they change in the world a little bit today? You're just wasting our time.
Yeah.
That's my point of view.
So do you think, because that's one of the questions that a lot of people are asking is, are you going to compete again, or do you have plans to compete again? Do you think that it is, because by the sounds of it, what you're saying is that it's very difficult for you to focus on competing yourself whilst also helping people around you? Do you think that's the case?
I think, like, for example, at the moment now, I'm doing a lot of things in my school. I'm also helping, and I just jump on board helping the Gracie Barra. I'm the Gracie Barra South collaborator, so I'm helping in this part as well. But competition, it's in my blood. I like the way I like I like to compete, to challenge myself, to make me, to push to become a better version of myself. So when I have a competition in mind, I'm gonna eat way better. I'm gonna train way harder. I have to do so many things in a better way to become the best of myself.
Yeah.
But I can't put this as a priority.
Sure.
When I have a lot of big holes that I need to cover. That would be very immature, right? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Immature,
yeah, sure.
So I need to prioritize now few things. And of course, I want to compete again once I manage to organize all the things.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who want to see you back on the mats. Do you?
Yes.
When you do think, let's say, you want to get back on the competition, when was the last time you competed out of interest?
Well, I compete the last year in the World Pro Cup.
Okay.
By the way, I just have a fracture on my elbow. Just like me and Jackson was helping each other training. And just the last minutes, Jackson tried to sweep me, and he was doing like a butterfly guard. I put my hand on the floor, and he hit my elbow at the same time, and I felt right there. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to push another 2 trains, and that was make even worse.
Yeah. And
then I felt like that, and I went to Abu Dhabi. I was thinking if I should go or should not go. I managed to go to the final with Abbott, that I have my butt completely kicked, I could not hold we say in Portuguese, I could not hold a cat from the tail, So I was completely, I was really scared, to be honest, to, make my arm worse.
Yeah.
But that was not an excuse, to be honest. If I could be in 100%, I'm pretty sure in that moment I could not perform 100%.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of priorities in front of my training.
Sure.
Do you know when you go train and your mind's not there, And I said, man, I should not even be pushing myself in that way at this moment, And then I thought, okay, I need a break. I need to organize things here, and that's why I decided to put the things in the right order.
Yeah, and if you do decide, be it in the next year or a couple of years, to step back on the competition mats, do you have any idea of what you'd want to do? Because I know that you've done mostly the big tournaments, the IBJJF and the UAE Jiu-jitsu tournaments, and had a huge amount of success in those. I know you've done ADCCs as well. Have you done much? I know since you've been kind of big in the competition, it's exploded since then, but the sub-only shows, the Polarises, the Kasai's, the stuff like that, is that something that you'd be interested in doing? Or?
Would it be interesting, yeah. Because what I notice, especially in my age now, 38, what's happening is the recovery. Like, I don't feel any problem to fight with anyone. No problem at all. Lapel, whatever they bring on, no problem. The thing is the amount of fights.
Yeah.
4,
1
5,
fight, 6 fights.
2 fights, 3 fights. It's a marathon. It's endless, And then I do 1 fight. And then, the back go. And second fight, you start to feel the body. You don't really have old injuries, But to do like super fights, I would do, I would do I think that's a good way to look at, We didn't have these.
Yeah, that wasn't around earlier when you competed.
But now it's a lot, and I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, let's head back
Yes.
So let's rewind back to you beating people up so you can go surf, right? So you were training jiu-jitsu. You said you started taking jiu-jitsu seriously from about the age 12. Did you, at what point kind of training through there, did you decide that you wanted to pursue jiu-jitsu as a career?
Yeah, that's a very good question. When I was I always trained so hard, but I think it was for different goals.
Sure.
And also, I think that's how we should organize our thoughts and our life. For example, before I was training really hard to be better than my friends.
Okay.
And between these 2 points, between training hard and be better than my friends, what I had to do to be better than to do that.
Yeah.
I have to train a lot, I have to eat a lot, I have all those things. And that's bring different priorities, So the priority was just be better than my friends. Then after, when I got a little bit older, was to be the man of the neighborhood,
okay.
So the girls could look at me, all that, the girls could talk about me, my friends could talk about me, all that. And then I realized when I hit my purple belt, that's when I moved from Carlos Augusto to Gracie Barra.
Okay.
That was very interesting phase in my life, actually. That's when I started to take serious.
Why did you move?
Because that time was Carlos Augusto. He used to have his academy in the Freguesia. That was, let's say, half an hour from Barra da Tijuca. And usually the guys from Gracie Barra used to teach in Carlos Augusto. So Carlos Augusto, he got his black belt from the Gracie family. I don't wanna make a mistake here on the name. I think it was Helson. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But he was always super busy running the business, helping the students and all this. So what he used to do to keep himself updated. That time wasn't YouTube.
Yeah.
That time wasn't, Gracie Barra was the most technical guys in that, the time. So what he used to do, he used to kind of sponsor some of the guys like as purple belt or brown belt. So the guys could train and eat. And exchange of that, the guys used to bring him the news. Like what the guy's doing, all that. And Carlinhos always knew that, Carlos Gracie, and was kind of a transition all the time. Guys from Carlos Augusto usually immigrate to the Gracie Barra.
Okay. It was a natural...
progression.
Yeah.
But that was a very interesting dynamic because the guys from Carlos Augusto was like usually guys from poor guys, like the guys who could not really... Barra da Tijuca was a completely different world.
It's like a nice area there.
Nice area. Yeah. Barra da Tijuca is people, you're gonna remember a little bit of LA, California, of close to the beach, expensive shopping malls, expensive food and all this. That was a different world. And then the first time I spoke to Carlos Augusto. Listen, I'm purple belt, and I'm feeling that there is the people to train here with me is not always here. That time was Jefferson Moura, who was black belt, and he was in Gracie Barra.
Yeah.
And the guys who I could train, the guys was to have like full-time job, but I want to train full-time. And they said, listen, it's time for you to go to the Gracie Barra and all this, and spoke. And that's when I landed in the Gracie Barra, That's one of the bad things I could do in my life, because not just about jiu-jitsu, that's the fact I moved to Gracie Barra. I start to have a contact with a different type of human beings. People who was talking about different countries. People who was speaking different languages. Lawyers, judges, doctors, you know. And that opened my mind so much to try to be a better version of myself.
Yeah.
You know. And I remember the first day I got into Gracie Barra. The Gracie Barra was like in on the 4th floor.
Yeah. It's like a sports club, right?
Yes.
It's like a health club, yeah.
Exactly. It's inside a big gym.
Yeah.
And the 4th floor was Gracie Barra.
Yeah.
And the Gracie Barra, at that time, they have like a huge gate that, you know, that's like kind of a farm gate. You have to pull like this, you know. And half of that gate was a glass. And to get into the 4th floor, you have to pass through, like, first floor was like spinning, then after the weights, the first floor like swimming pool, beautiful swimming pool, girls, guys, beautiful look, good looking, you know, pretty people, you know, eating, having like shakes all over. I was like, wow, that's a different, I was feeling completely in a different world, you know. And then you hit the 2nd floor, then you start to see like the beautiful gym, you know, like beautiful weights machine, you know, people like, you know, different type of clothes. And I was like, oh, wow, you know. Then you go to the 2nd floor, the 3rd floor, and you see like the dancing area, you know, where the girls used to dance, training and all that. And then from that floor, you start to smell the mats. You can start to feel the smell of jiu-jitsu, you know?
Yeah. You can't miss that smell anyway.
You can't miss that, you know? And then you start jiu-jitsu. And then, but you come, you know, such a beautiful, but then when you hit the 4th floor, man, you think, okay, I'm going to get the same type of environment.
Yeah.
No. You get it there, and was like, that time was, you get into the stairs, and you turn right, and as soon as you turn right was like an open space, like a, let's say, how to say, when it's a paint house but it's open. You know, you was like the space of the mat here, and have a gap where you could sit on the chair and you can see the sky, you know, all this, and have the toilet. So to go to the toilet, have to cross this area, you know.
Yeah.
And then you come outside the stairs and you turn right, and you look to the right. As soon as you look to the right, that's when you see the mats if 100 people there.
Really?
That's when, and it's funny because as soon as you open the door a little bit, that gate, even if you try really slow, tack, 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 everyone gonna look at you, you know. You know? Man, it was the most scary feeling I ever had.
It's such a funny thing that I'm sure you find it the same. Can you see the entrance to your gym from the mat? Your like the front door? Can you see who walks in from the mat? I put like a mirror so I can see. We have like the mat, and then we have the door going next to it. And every time someone walks through, everyone stares.
Yes,
it's such a strange thing. Like but unequivocally, anytime anyone walks in during a class, the entire class, even if you're teaching a technique, no one's looking at you. Everyone looks up at the door. That must be terrifying.
Terrifying. It's terrifying. And think about
People need to stop doing that. Just pay attention to the technique.
It's so hard to do it. So if you have this in mind, because you forgot things at the time, right? But how hard it is to someone to step in the Jiu-Jitsu Academy the first time, to someone who never did martial arts to get in, okay, I'm going to start to do martial arts. I'm going to go to whatever gym here. Yeah. If the environment is not super welcoming, the people going to feel completely threatened. Yeah. Right? Oh my God, what am I doing here? Okay, bye. You know? I have a very funny story. Charlie Woods, one of my students, purple belt. I used to teach in Knightsbridge. I opened my academy in Knightsbridge. And used to be like in the basement. And then I see Charlie coming downstairs. That time he was not my student, to ask for like some information, to start training. And I can see like his chicken legs, and I can see he got like half of his way. Then he's like, oh gosh. And that time I was training for Thiago Monstro,
Yeah.
no gear.
Yeah.
So Thiago was like sweating like 140 kilos. Like, and Thiago is a very sweet human being, but
he's a monster, though, man.
He's a monster. You know what I mean? Look at him. You get scared just to look at him. And then, man, me and Thiago just training, trying to kill each other. Then somehow, when I look at Charlie, his face was like I knew him from somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, just wait there. I'm going to finish this round here and speak with you, man. Just wait me there for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Then keep going if monster, He pushed up. And then when I look to the side, Charlie was with the eyes like that, like, Jesus. And they say, how are you, man? You all right? I say, yes, I'm okay. And I say, so how can I help you? Then I realized I was wrong. I didn't know him.
Yeah.
So I was, then he showed me the leaflet, like,
Yeah.
probably got the leaflet somewhere. I want to do some jiu-jitsu. They say, okay, let's do the intro class. Then after a long time, he told me that he thought about half of the way when he was going
100%.
down to go back.
Yeah.
But he gave up because he realized, oh no, maybe he already saw my leg.
Yeah.
I have to be a man. I have to carry on. And look how beautiful is that. After a few years, the guy's purple belt, all his family training, it's amazing.
That's so true, though, with I've spoken to people. It's such a terrifying thing to go to your first jiu-jitsu class.
Yes.
I think with all martial arts, it's really, really hard. It's like with always trying to go into a new team or a new sport, it's hard. But obviously with a combat sport, it's different. I've spoken to people who I train with now who said the first time they came to the gym, they walked up to the front door, put their hand on the handle, and turned around and went home.
Exactly.
It happens. I think it's like, and that walk, there's always like a walkway.
Yeah.
From the front door to the reception.
Yes.
And that's the hardest walk for most people to do that first time as they make that first journey.
Yes.
I think it is so important to, as students, like anyone listening to this, instructors, students, it doesn't matter. If you see a new person at the gym, smile at them, wave at them, go and say hello to them. Even, I'll go and say hello to everyone who walks through the door, whether they're going to come to my class or whether they're just walking in. Just like, don't have to say anything else.
Exactly.
Just like, shake their hand, smile, say hello, because that might be the little difference between someone going, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, and actually these people seem pretty cool. There is a responsibility in everyone who trains jiu-jitsu to be, when the first time someone walks through the gym, wave at them, smile at them, say hello to them, shake their hand, and it makes a massive difference to the culture and the community in the gym.
Yeah, but that also as a good tip for all the school owners and all the schools around, if you organize an intro class, then when the intro class, usually the cabin is going to be in the empty time when there is no one there, so can go through the history. So when we teach the intro class, it seems like people is in the museum. We teach the whole history until get into me. Then teach our curriculum. Then when the guy going to actually to do some jiu-jitsu, he's so relaxed away. So when he come back, and a lot of people on the mats are gonna feel like, ooh, okay, I'm a part of that. So I think that's make a huge difference.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna close that door. Someone's mowing the lawn. Okay. So anyway, we're at your purple belt, and you've gone to Baja for the first time. Now, upon doing a bit of research for today, I found out that you were a purple belt for a really long time.
Yes.
How long was it?
Very close to 7 years. 7 years.
Now, this is so important.
Yes.
This is so important to talk about, because the number of people who get frustrated about being a blue belt for 4 years, about being a brown belt for 4 years, about being a white belt for 3 years. These people need to understand that there are people out there who have made it to the level that you have, who have won so many championships, who have been so successful with massive schools and affiliations of their own, who spent 7 years as a purple belt. It's just such a... Now, firstly, do you know why you spent so long at purple belt?
Yes. Well, first of all, in that time, let's bear in mind, I just come from another school.
Yeah.
Okay?
So obviously that adds a lot more time on it.
That's add a lot of time, but I don't regret to stay in that. I think that was really necessary. Carlos Gracie Jr., he did the bad thing, to keep me in that belt for all this time.
Yeah, a bad thing?
No, it was a very good thing.
Yeah.
Very good thing. Let's put it this way. I come from a school. I always come from a good background. My mother, I have very tough, upbringing. She make sure she was doing her job as a mom, I was always super respectful, but I come from a lot of, my jiu-jitsu was not really great. I was like a very tough guy, but I was a lot of holes on my jiu-jitsu. A lot of lack of respect. Like, for example, invite black belts to train. Not because I want to be disrespectful, because I didn't know, And
so this was a lower grade calling out, asking a higher belt to
exactly.
run.
Imagine, man, you get in there.
Yeah. That wasn't a etiquette that was universal in Brazil, because your original gym, you didn't know about that. But at Gracie Barra, that's important.
Yes, was because I come from a small academy.
Yeah.
So all the time I was okay to come to the guys and because I was competing a lot and all this. Actually, the guys feel okay to ask them.
Yeah.
But I realized in Gracie Barra that was something different, And when I got it there, I saw my whole heroes was there.
Yeah.
Nino Chambry, Roleta, Gordo, a lot of guys, man. A lot of guys you can be here all day. Soca, all the guys, Márcio Feitosa, all heroes, one after the other. I said, man, that's the guy who beat the Valido Ismail. That's the guy who beat that one. That's the guy who was like, wow, I want to train for all of them today.
You start calling them out.
Yes, of course.
How did that go?
They came to kill me, They tried to kill me, take my head off. Then I was like, yes, they really like me. They really trying to smash me, Then I love it. But they realized that I was clueless.
So did someone kind of come out of a word with you?
No.
Oh, no.
No, they just smashed me for a good 2 years, until I become a friend of Jerry. The guy just said, man, this purple belt here, man, he's just clueless. This bastard ask everyone to train, man. The guys was like training to the world championship, and some crazy tough purple belt come and ask to train with Roleta in the middle of his training. Oh, do you mind if we train a little bit? They say, he has. Come here. But, I understand, because imagine the guy's in completely different mindset.
Yeah, sure.
Working his game, and some guy who he doesn't know, he just jump in the team into the door. He doesn't know who was that guy, and start to invite him to train. Was super disrespectful, Then,
sure.
But I was genuinely, I didn't want to be disrespectful, And then what happened was 2 years the guy smashed me until I become a good friend of João Felipe, Jerry.
Yeah.
And they say, bro, you cannot do that. They say, what?
2 years it took.
Yeah. So you cannot invite the black belt. Then they say, what do you mean? They say, you can't. Then I say, okay. Then I start to understand, But that's how answer the question. That's one of the things. And then in that time was like this. I was competing every weekend.
Wow.
But was a lot of guys in the same weight, in the same belts.
A brown belt.
Purple belt.
A purple belt.
That was better than me.
Okay.
For example, if I want to fight the worlds in my weight as a purple belt, my master, Carlos Gracie, he will get his chair, put on the mat, cross his legs, and make the trials inside the academy.
You'd fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was worse than the competition.
Yeah.
Because I have to fight 3-4 fights against someone that without time limits.
Wow.
When Carlinhos think that was enough.
So no points, nothing.
No points. And I always have my ass kicked from the guys, you know. So why in that time, I was competing. I want to do well in the competition, I could not go to the next belt. But, one thing that I always put in my mindset was I don't believe talents can beat hard work. So those guys are more talented than me. But they're going to wake up earlier, and they're going to be the last one to leave the mat. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
And eventually I started to do better against my friends, who was not my friends that time.
Yeah.
They want to just, was like group of guys, they getting together, and today we're good friends. I love them. One of them is like Igor Grace, Halls Grace, Roger, Jerry, Samoa, all these guys, they just come to give me a hard time.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So eventually, imagine all these people, Carlinhos, he even didn't know my name. He used to call me Magrão. Magrão's like big skinny guy. Try to remember my name. Yeah. Magrão, get here for this guy here. They said, I just go. So, and then when I realized after years, and the other thing as well, imagine, I see this all the time. How many times people come into a school, you give your life for that person. You put so much time. You make them better. You teach them the technique. And they think because they pay you the membership, you're doing your duty as a professor.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys, you listen right there. Yeah. That's incorrect. Yes, you pay me to provide you the service, but
I disagree with that.
Yeah,
like straight away. So this is the thing that people say, which is you're paying for a service. That's not true. It's not true.
Exactly.
You're not paying for a service.
Yes.
You're paying for a membership to a club.
Yes.
This is not the same.
Exactly.
Right? There's no like that's the way that I see it.
Yes, true.
You're paying for membership. You're not paying to have your car cleaned.
Yeah.
You're not paying to have your, whatever, your lock changed.
Yes.
That's a service. You're paying for a membership to a club. And in the club, you learn jiu-jitsu. And you get, and they help with your diet and your nutrition and your lifting. And they take you to tournaments. And
you become part of the family.
It's different. Exactly. So I get really frustrated when people say that there's no service.
Exactly. That is exactly. Put in a very good way. They think they're paying you for the service. Yeah. And you owe them something, and then it's okay if after all this they just leave you for whatever reason. So I understand in life there is a lot of things can happen in life, But for example, the guy, I have a student that was put a lot of time on the guy. The guy is so talented. The guy was good. I can see the guy was working a lot. He's not from London, and I was giving him a lot of love, a lot of time. I'm really happy that I managed to help him to become a better person. And all of a sudden, he stopped training jiu-jitsu because he did a tattoo. So I know I have a new tattoo. Then I quit jiu-jitsu.
Full stop.
Full stop. They was like, wow, what's missing? What happened? I was so sad about it. That hurts me. They was like, man, really? That's all it takes you to give up in something in life? You just did a tattoo, or the guy now I have new girlfriend. Now I'm gonna quit. So that also was something. I just come into the team, and I just I have guys that I'm a black belt from whatever. Then he come here, all this, and start training with me, leave. And the guy, they assign the papers, help the guy, all this, and the guy just leave. I say, what's that? I didn't get it, So also, that was one of the things. So the guy just jumped on board.
Yeah.
He wanted to compete. Okay. Let's see. Let's see how long he's going to last
this
here.
You.
Yes, that was me. Let's see how long he's going to last here. 1 month, 2 months. And then after, I start to do well in the competitions, all this. And then one day, Carlinhos invited me to, then when I realized I was going to Pedro da Gávea with Master Carlos. Pedro da Gávea is like we climb the mountain together in the morning, Then I become a closer of Carlos and Master Carlos, and then that's
You started to get accepted in.
I started to get accepted, because he realized I was not messing around.
Sure.
I was
You're
really
serious.
want to be part of the family, That was a big thing. And when I remember, from this transition, it's important I mention this every time I talk about this. And I want to to touch on that subject every time, because I'm a very grateful human being. I never forget what people, what the things people do for me, I'm very grateful. So I remember when I moved from Carlos Augusto to Gracie Barra, I could not afford to pay to Gracie Barra. Then I come to Carlos Gracie Jr., Master Carlos, in the middle of that environment, and I say, excuse me, Master, can I have a chat with you? They say, yes. I feel that just every time I remember that, I feel terrified. I get scared just to remember about it. To get, into a Gracie man, into his academy, in the middle of that environment, and tell him that I could not afford to pay the membership, but I want to make part of that. That was his living. That's how that's how he was buying his food, That's his job. That's his, business. It's really funny, by the way. Let's put a comma here. Every time we talk about business, people think about almost like a criminal. Business. Oh, no. Jiu-Jitsu Academy is not a business. Let me tell you something, my friend. If you charge a membership and people's training into your door, that's business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's up to you if you're going to do a wrong business or a bad business. If you're going to touch people's life into a business or not. So anyway, then I got it there and say, Master, I cannot afford it. Then he was move his eyes side to side and say, how much can you pay? Then I say, the answer was right away. I thought about saying nothing, but I said, I can pay half. Then, man, I managed to pay half for 1 month, and the next month, I can't really afford it. Then he came to me and said, listen, you want to compete? Yeah, I say, yes. Do you want to, can you manage to pass the main gates in the gym? Because he knew I used to do physical education, used to study and all this. And they knew the reception. They said, yes, I can. Okay. They said, but how about Marcinho? Because Márcio Feitosa, he was the one responsible for the... Don't worry, leave Márcio with me. I'm going to handle this. That was priceless. I was no one, And he not just did this with me. He did it for a lot of people, He helped a lot of people. And, people ask, Lagarto, would you like to open your own team? I say, my friend, would you like, is like what you ask me, same as ask if I would like to change my name instead. Lucio Rodrigues, say I'm a Lucio something else. I cannot see myself in a different team, in a different way of Gracie Barra, because that's everything who I am is because of Gracie Barra, because Carlos Gracie Jr. And I would change the team if the ideas I was not agreeing with this, if I was not agreeing with his ideas, if it was something bad for the world, if it was something it's a completely the other way around,
Yeah.
So the guy who come up with the idea to, when the people retire, there is a lot of black belts think about to be a champion now in all this. What happened in the later days? Is don't make millions as a football players. What are you gonna do? They really know how to run a business. They really know how to teach a proper class. They really know how to organize a curriculum, And all the Gracie Barra have all that structure, structure behind it, and can help you to live through Jiu-Jitsu. So answer that question was the best 7 years of my life. I used to wake up, Daniel, I didn't have money to eat. My mother was in that time. When I talk about the things, people say, oh, here we go, another Brazilian sad stories. When you come from the tough environment, when you have to work so hard for something, that's when you appreciate, right? And Brazil is a a second world country. You know, everything, it's so hard. For you to get a car, it's so hard. For you to even, you know, to have your job, to eat, it's hard. So my father, I come from a medium class, right? And my mother, she was upset at my dad. She was constantly in depression. And somehow she put this into our family, and my brother, my sister, and myself. And my escape was jiu-jitsu. You know? So when you ask when did I decide to live through jiu-jitsu, that was my escape. So I have money to get the bus and go to Gracie Barra and stay the whole day there. Zero food. I remember I used to get like into my neighbor, steal some banana from the tree, climb up the coconut tree in my garden, and I blend coconut with banana. By the way, it's really good. You should try, guys. And coconut with banana, and that's what I have in my stomach the whole day long. And I didn't want the people to know about that because I didn't want to be the drama queen. I didn't want people to feel sorry for me. I didn't want to be in the middle of the guys in Gracie Barra that come from a good upbringing, you know, good family. You know, the guys used to have money. I didn't want they to discriminate me, you know. So I was quiet, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember one day, now we have every year we have the Gracie Barra Summit. Is that all the Gracie Barras around the world will get together and we exchange ideas. We'll study with the vision of our master. How can you become better? How can you spread more schools around? And I was in Vegas, and when I got my 4th degree on my belt, that's when my friend Marcos Joca, Piu Piu, he mentioned to people about it, that he one day, this guy is amazing. You know, he was in the middle of the people. He was the friend of everyone. And one day he got into the mats and he saw me in the corner eating my chicken breast with sweet potato. And he never really make fun. Because in Brazil, you the king of the bullies, you know, he's gonna bully you with everything, you know. Gonna joke about everything they take to the joke way, you know. And he didn't take this to no one. So he kept that secret of 7 keys, you know. He never shared with no one. And just in the summit, when I got my 4th stripe, he comes to me and said, "Oh, Lagartão, that's the power of the breast chicken sweet potato, is it?" Just for like 2 words that showed that stuck me backers, you know, like for so many years, you know. And yeah, so that 7 years was one of the best 7 years of my life, brother.
Yeah. And I think, you know, that, like I said, it's so important that people understand that people think that they expect to get a belt. They expect, I train hard, I come in, I train every day, I train 4, 5, 3, whatever days a week, 2 years, where's my belt? You know, and they don't see actually where's the lesson behind why aren't you getting your belt? It's not about getting the belt, right? Like, was there ever a time where you were frustrated that you weren't getting your brown belt?
Yeah, well, I used to, I used to see a lot of guys that they get the belt, but some of those guys I was doing good against them.
Okay, yeah. So you go, why aren't I getting the belt?
Yes, then I start to question myself, and I was like, think for like a couple of times, I was in the huge doubt in my mind was maybe Carlos Gracie forgot me. That was the only thing. They say, if that is the thing, I will make sure he gonna see me.
Yeah.
That was my only concern. I want to make good so my father, he will see me.
Yeah.
You know? Because a lot of people say, I spend more time from my teenager to the adult with Carlos Gracie Jr. than with my father. You know? I spend hours and hours with that man, you know. And I learned so much. And once he gave me the opportunity to be closer to him, I was so happy for that, so grateful. That's changed complete my life and the life of my family, you know, in different aspects. How to eat, how to behave, you know, a lot of beautiful things. But the thing that really frustrated me was maybe he don't know who I am, even if I'm here every day.
Yeah.
But wasn't. His eyes was there on me.
Yeah.
Every single day. And I was just thinking I was better than what I was, but I wasn't. I was really bad, you know. And now I can see, you know.
And maybe that's the reality, which sometimes you're just not as good as you think you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But there was, you could feel your level right away. Then I start to feel like, man, I start getting somewhere here.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe that's my destiny.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be purple belt forever. And I just assume and say, whatever. I'm going to be the best purple belt in the world.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You know? If that's my destiny, I will be the best I can be, you know? And then the color belts, the brown belts and the black belts, you start to ask, come on, man, when this guy gonna be a next belt? When this guy gonna be the next belt? When then start, I'm doing good.
Yeah.
You know? I'm doing good, you know? But, Daniel, just change the thing here now.
Yeah.
Now I ask you a question, right?
Okay.
Do you think, like, also, there is a different levels, right? In that kind. For example, you cannot compare yourself as a competitor with someone who have like 3 kids and a full-time job, right? So this guy who have 3 kids and a full-time job, if he doesn't sweep you as a blue belt in that time, so that guy should never get his purple belt.
Sure, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So-
Everyone's got to be on their own journey.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
That's the
it's
thing.
bad to compare yourself to other people.
Yes, it's a, you know, it's the biggest mistake that people, you know, make. It's compare them constantly, you know. So follow your own journey.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So there you got your brown belt. Must have been a good day.
Ooh, that was a beautiful day. I was, wow, when he got him the brown, that was the first belt that Carlos Gracie was tied on me.
And you had been
know.
training there for what, 4 or 5 years?
I was there for, let's say, 5 years.
Yeah.
Yes. And I remember that day when he tied the belt on me, I was like, wow, one day this man going to give him the black belt.
Yeah.
That was a big thing, you know? And that for me was not just the belt, was the finally the doors open for me, and the people accept me as a part of that group, of part of that very tough environment. I was one of them. I was like, wow, I managed, you know? That time I was spend a lot of time with Carlinhos. When I say Carlinhos, because that means little Carlos.
Yeah.
But everyone call Carlos Gracie, Master Carlos.
Yeah.
Everyone means his students, because his father was the senior master.
Yeah.
You know, the senior Carlos Gracie. So the family used to call him Little Carlos, Carlinhos. So every time when I call Carlinhos, please guys, I have a lot of respect to my master. That's how just I grew up. So Carlinhos, that time I was going to Pedro da Gaiva with him. He allowed me to do specific trainings with him, you know. I was asking questions. I was doing my workout with him time to time during the 11 o'clock. That's the time he used to like to do his weights.
Yeah.
You know, I was accepted, you know. That was really, really sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, you know, that must be pretty awesome. And what sort of age was that you were at that point?
Ooh, I'm terrible with it. that I was around
mid-20s, probably.
Yes, close to 20s. Yeah.
So, from your journey through the once you got your brown belt, you kind of all broken into the top level, and by then, no doubt, you're already kicking ass in tournaments and stuff like that. You're really making it through to the elite level. When did you? I guess the next stage from there was actually you making the decision to move to Europe, to move to the UK.
Yes.
What prompted that? Were you already a black belt at that point?
Yes, when I moved to Portugal, I was black belt.
So you moved to Portugal before the UK?
Yes.
And what prompted that move?
Carlinhos asked me
to go and set up a Gracie Barra.
To start the Gracie Barra, because he said, Carl, Lagarto, I have the view to spread the jiu-jitsu around the world, and I would like you to go to Portugal. But when the interesting fact in the brown belt was, when I got my brown belt, Rodrigues, that was the year that Roger beat Ronaldo Jacare in the final of the Worlds.
At brown belt?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the consequence of that was to make a very angry Jacare for the whole entire year. Because Jacare's professor in that time told him that he will not get the brown belt until he become a world champion in his weight and open weight.
The black belt or brown?
In the brown belt.
Oh, so this was a purple belt?
No, he was. He will not get his black belt.
His black belt, yeah.
Yes,
okay,
before, thank you. Before he get a world champion in his division and open division.
That's a pretty high standard.
Exactly. And
I just think you're not going to get your blue belt until you win like the South End Open or something. You got to win weight and absolute brown belt.
Yeah. And was interesting because Jacare, who doesn't know, he's fighting UFC now, Ronaldo Jacare, is an amazing athlete.
One of the greatest grapplers.
One of the greatest grapplers. He's there. He just fought like 2 weeks ago, right? And he's doing amazing in the UFC. And Jacare, he come from Manaus, and he used to train so hard. And I used to see Jacare competing when I was in my transition to get a really bad purple belt to become like a Satbo purple belt. I used to see Jacare killing people, demolish people, I saw him fight a tournament many times and even didn't break the sweat. He just feels like he was just having ice cream.
Yeah.
And 20-0 and submitting people, And when I saw the final against Roger and Jacare, immediately I knew I would fight Jacare in the finals of the Worlds. Because that was my idea to show the world that I have my values. I could do good in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That was my chance to prove to my whole friends in Gracie Barra and to prove to the world that I achieved that level. So I was competing the whole year, all the competitions Jacare was competing.
Trying to get him.
Trying to face him.
Yeah.
But what happening, somehow like I lose in the semifinal or whatever, or he didn't show up, he didn't go to the competition. But I managed to see one competition that then he was so angry for the whole year. He was fighting with anger, he was fighting give everything, Imagine, you get there, you smash everyone in the world, then you lose the final to Roger Gracie, and for,
another year
you're going to be a brown belt.
Yeah.
Man, I saw him the whole tournaments, people wouldn't score even one advantage. And I saw him in one competition, he stayed on the mat, and he asked 3 guys in a row to come. Was like one of these medium competition, so beat the guy, And he called the coordinate, send me another one. He beat the other guy, he sent me another one. He beat the other guy, like, tung, 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 like, I was like, Jesus, you know. But that was making me better, I see people, I don't understand why so much trash talking nowadays.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, Jacare, he make me better. So I was so grateful. Of course, we walk in the street, we bump into each other. Was not, hi, hello, how you doing? Was angry face for each other across the road because we knew we wanted the same thing.
Yeah.
We knew we were going to fight against each other, right? I don't understand, like, people when they chatting before.
Yeah.
Their mindset's gone. I didn't grow up in like, nowadays, now I see people, like, chatting, hello, let's fight. You lose the whole dynamic of the fight, I like to be focused, concentrate. I'm going to fight for this guy. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Let's fight,
Yeah.
So in that time, was me and Jacare, I was waiting to fight him, And then, Jesus, that was so... Then my first fight, I fought for... My second fight was against one guy from Australia. I forgot his name now. He was a really big guy, really good. And he was doing his camp in Gracie Barra.
Okay.
And our training, he was stepping like 3-4 times in the training, I could not move the guy. The guy was like 120 kilos. I was like...
This was the open weight?
Yes, I was open weight. And I was close to my 90, 80, 89, And the guy was smashing me, And I remember I was going to my second fight against him. And Felipe Jerry, he asked, so Lagarto, what's the deal?
Yeah.
What's the plan?
Yeah.
Because we knew the guy was better and stronger, I say, Jerry, I don't know what's going to happen, but just don't give up on me. Don't stop to shout at me for 1 second.
Yeah.
You're going to see the biggest ape shit you ever see in your life now, Because I want to put everything on the table right there because I knew he would pass my guard. I knew he would get my back. But one thing I knew was better than him was my cardio, And say, I need to make him tired, And then I gave everything. And the guy scored a lot of points, And then the end I managed to get him,
Submit.
I submit him, And then after I fought for one guy, he was also very strong. And then the day I went to the final for Jacare.
Finally.
Exactly. I was waiting for that. And people was scaring. The people was freaking out to fight against Jacare.
Yeah.
And I remember, because Jacare, he used to spend a lot of time with Tererê. So Tererê, every time when he comes to the competition, the whole community, the whole favela coming down and then put all the energy of the football into the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So it was amazing. Was that, but powerful,
Yeah. That's what people don't realize who have never seen a proper Brazilian BJJ tournament, either in Brazil or even a few times when I went to the World, sometimes for the final of the black belt divisions, you get that. It's like being at a football game, chanting and all the different teams in different areas.
Yes.
It's very cool.
If you're not used to it, I'm telling you, you can lose right there, But I was so focused. I was waiting for that moment,
Yeah.
Then I said, okay, you know what? Today's my day, I'm gonna give 150% right here, all that energy, and then I remember the guys start to say, de olho azul, e anelzinho, o lagarto é tremendo playboyzinho. So that means like, if you blue eyes and if little ring, lagarto is such a playboy. Just to make the words, they make the rima, rhyming, and then that was, I was far away to be a playboy, you know. We call playboy in Brazil the people who has like money, you know, people who come from, you know, have his car, have, you know, good house, and sometimes behave as a playboy as well, you know, like taking advantage of people, you know, all this. And taking advantage means in the, you know, like in disrespectful way, you know, all this. And that's really hurts me, you know.
So this was the opponent's team was saying that?
Yes.
Okay. Jacare's team,
yeah. Also, they were singing, what was Ela, Massa Lagartixa, something that smashed the... Lagartixa is a, you know, lizard. Lagarto, it's a lizard, right? But the Lagartixa, it means the little lizard you have inside the house, like little geckos.
That runs on the walls,
Yes, then they was calling me that to make me, you know, to make me smaller and all this. And that was just putting more petrol, you know, that was just making more anger, you know, more, I run this so much. And then when you shake hand, it was like, boom, you know. For the first time, people saw Jacare asking people outside the time. That was for the whole year. Someone put that rhythm in the fights. I swept him twice, you know. In my mind, I was winning because I didn't count the guard pass. Because he comes to the top and, you know, he ended up like on the side straight away. I didn't count. And was a very crazy fight. And then when fight, you can see I celebrate. Oh no, I didn't win. I thought I was winning. But anyway, in the middle of the fight, I swept Jacare, and he kind of walking outside, and I throw him outside. And I was like, I kind of throw him, kind of push, and so much energy and confidence. While I was fight with him, Daniel, was a moving pass into my eyes, you know, was like everything that I have to overcome. All the days I have to be on the mat starving. All the years that stay in my belts. All those people who say I would not do it. All those people who point at me as an untalented and laugh at me because I was doing some silly techniques. All those things was into my eyes right there, you know? And I was like, I gonna do good. I will get him. I didn't give up until the last second. And the fight finished. I thought I won. I celebrated. I was like, oh, no, I didn't win, you know? But it was a beautiful fight. Jacare got his belt right away and throw into people, you know? He just rolled the belt and throw into people, and that's when he got his black belt.
So was that the fight? What tournament was that? Was that the Worlds?
World final.
Wow.
That was considered the best.
And the absolute division.
Absolute division.
So Roger had already got his black belt.
Yes. Yes. So that was the best.
Wow.
Considered the best fights of the whole World Championship in 2003.
Is that online?
Yes.
I'm gonna go find that.
Yeah.
That's like. Yeah. It's so often. I had it when I was talking to Brado, but you'll hear these like people like yourself talk about the fights and how they felt during it, and then when you go back and watch the fight afterwards, knowing like the story behind it and how you were feeling, the emotions going on in the crowd,
it's a different.
It just brings
feeling.
a whole new narrative. I'm gonna find that part. I'm gonna
watch.
Find
it, man. You're gonna find it. And you can see that was now have the history behind. You're gonna see. It's gonna touch because it's so many things going on there. That was not just a fight. That was I turning into Lagarto. After that fight, people, when I was step into the mat, say, "Ooh, that guy who fought Lagarto, the guy who fought Jacare. Let's watch." People start to stand to watch my fights. People start to respect me as a fighter. It's not more the guy who was untalented. And people start to consider me as a talent. That's something I'm not at all. I'm just such a hard worker in everything. If you give my mission, I will give my best. And I will do that. You know, I'm going to put so much effort on this, and I will become the best of myself, you know. So you're gonna see that, and then after Roller Gracie come to me and say, Lagarto, that was amazing, so much personality, amazing to see your fight, man. You are the man, that's amazing. My opinion, you know, was this, blah, 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 blah. Rickson Gracie come to me. Carlinhos, my master, come to me. All my friends, you know, come to me. And then after few months, 8 months, I think, finally I got my black belt. And that's when you can see on the Google, I have the famous picture that I was like my fingers like this, point on my eyes. My friends joke a lot about it, that I was crying so much. I could not hold my tears, you know, because all this come into my heart. Everything, you know, was so hard, you know, to get it, to achieve that belt, to achieve that level, you know. And then Carlinhos asked me a few months later to start the Gracie Barra in Portugal. That's when I become the first European champion, weights and open division.
Really?
I'm the first European champion.
No way.
I think I'm still the guy who has more titles in the European Championship.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when I moved to Europe.
Yeah. And then how long were you in Portugal for?
I was in Portugal for close to 6 months. And then I come to visit Roger here in London. That was my first time in London.
Because you knew Roger from back at Gracie Barra days.
Well, me and Roger, I know Roger since young. You know, we got that teenager phase until adult together. When I was purple belt, Roger was blue belt, and me and Roger have a very good, tough times, you know, because Roger was always his defense, he was always very technical.
The defense,
his defense was really good.
People forget that about Roger. They see him as such a good submission artist, but before he kind of was getting the 8 subs, weight and absolute and all of that stuff, no one submitted him. Like, he couldn't be submitted.
Exactly.
I still think even now, the last time he was submitted was like a blue belt juvenile, something like that was the last time, which is crazy for someone who's competed at the elite level for so many years.
Exactly. You know, so Roger always had a very good defense, always have the family behind him, as Master Carlos, as his father, as Helion, you know. Eventually, when I become a black belt and become good friends and all this, I had the same chance to go to visit Helion and study jiu-jitsu, to sit down with Master Carlos and talk about positions. But Roger, he has this his whole life. He sit in the breakfast with his father and talk about jiu-jitsu, you know. You know, you can see the beautiful and cute relationship they have. You know, if you guys had the chance to see his channel, you see Master Mauricio showing position, and they have fun trying to, Roger say his position doesn't work, and they start to fight. I love it. I love so much, you know. And that time me and Roger have huge battles, you know. I was purple, and I didn't want to, you know, let the blue belt beat me, so I give my best, you know. But that time, Roger, as a blue belt, I saw him many times give a hard time to black belts. You know,
I believe that.
In Brazil, you know. So in that time, Roger always have this very good defense, very good mindset, you know. And then when I got my black belt, I moved to Portugal and I come to visit Roger. That's when I saw, wow. Then what was really interesting, me and Roger went to South Kensington on the way back from his academy, and then we stopped in a Japanese restaurant there, and Roger ordered for us a chicken yakisoba with a Coca-Cola, right?
Yeah.
And I remember it was £6.
Yeah.
£6.50. Straight away, I put it times 5. I was like, yo, wow, what's that? That's so expensive. How come, man? How can I afford for this? That's so much money, you know? And I was like, man, this place is way much fun than Portugal.
Yeah.
So many things happening at the same time, all this. And then I end up moving to Preston.
Yeah.
With Professor Paul, my first black belt, Professor Paul Hartley.
So Preston is very, very different to London.
Yes, very, very different. I was a little bit...
You would thought, oh man, I really like London. I think I'm going to come over to the UK, and you end up in Preston.
Yes, but especially the way how I started, Professor Paul Hartley, he used to have academy in the middle of the fields. You look to one side, I looked outside, like, even if you know the address, was really hard to find it.
Yeah.
And that was not even Preston, that was in Longreach.
Yeah.
So it takes like half an hour from Preston to get into Longreach. And Professor Paul, that time he was a blue belt, was training with me, bless him, and he was my training partner. I just was a very tough times for him. He was my only trainer, If Peter
and you're still
Pan,
competing at elite level,
Matt Stallone, Matt Stallone, this, and me and Braulio, Victor, and Roger will meet up time to time to train in London, But it was expensive to get the train all the way from Preston to London,
It's a long way.
Long way. I used to hide myself in the toilets in the train. From to the train guy, the ticket. Sometimes take me 90 hours when they catch me and throw my way off the train, But what happened, then eventually I found a place to move from the fields to the center of Preston, where the academy is today, Gracie Barra Preston. You just cross the road of the train station. And now we have a beautiful team there, a lot of guys training. Professor Paul now, he run the school and managed to eventually, now Professor Stallone have his academy as well. Peter Pan, bunch of black belts now, you know.
Well, you have like a huge affiliation all around the north of London.
Yes, that's
north
true.
of England. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, and then eventually I spoke for Roger. I said, man, I want to live in London. You know, I really want to live. That's after cancer, all this. And then he said, Lagarto, come over, man. But we have a lot of guys teaching, all this, and I don't really know how it's gonna be. He let me to come and stay at his house. I stayed at his house for a while, and then after I started to build up, the guys used to call me Mr. Private. I love
privates.
One after the other, one after the other. I was teaching like 30 privates a week.
Wow.
So, and that's how I managed to start my life in London. Thanks, Roger, thanks, Maurição, that flew all the way from Brazil and start this beautiful journey here for us, you know?
Absolutely. So you mentioned it there, and kind of we'll talk about that now if you don't mind. But
of course.
When was it that you got the news that you had been that you contracted cancer?
That was in 2007. 2007, when I was coming a lot to that was 2007. Yes, 2007. I went back to Brazil, and I noticed that I was my left trapezium. How do you call it? Trapezium? Trap. It was bigger than the right. And I was competing. I was training, And I went to the doctor. That he said it was just a infection, throat infection. And I didn't believe it. Tried a couple of doctors, and eventually I did an ultrasound, and one of the doctors, he said, listen, you have a few things there. I recommend you to do a biopsy. Yeah. And I went to the academy and spoke with Dr. Alexandre, a good friend of mine, black belt. And then he told me, listen, then I said, listen, the doctor said I could not train, all this. I think she doesn't know what she's talking about, blah, blah, blah. They say, what happened? What she told you? Then I told him, I said, listen, take it easy a little bit. Tomorrow comes to the hospital, let's do this biopsy. Yeah. And we did the biopsy. Then we find out I was Hodgkin lymphoma level 2. So between my lungs, I had, was already the size of an orange. And my left trapezium, So, and that's how we start the whole fight,
the size of an orange.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And then then the Dr. Alexander, he set up all the treatment, he put him in a hospital of kids. I was the only adult there, and that one of his friends was running the place, and they look after me really well. And I did chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and it was really interesting. One of the things that was really interesting in that treatment was I could point that was one of the most happiest moment in my life.
Really?
Yes, because I felt so connected with God. I felt so connected with love, and I felt so connected with my real friends. It's so interesting when you're in the hospital and you see who get into the door.
Yeah.
It's those guys who try to choke and break your arms your entire life.
Yeah.
The guy who was my friends was there for me,
Yeah.
And also, the really interesting thing is what your mind can do it. In my mind, I knew 100% that was just a phase.
Yeah.
In my mind, I knew that was just a phase, that someone just got in the mount, I will escape, Someone got on my back, I will escape.
Yeah.
I was surfing every day.
During the treatment?
During the treatment. I was surfing every day. I was training jiu-jitsu every day. And I was doing weights every day. My treatment was every Thursday. No, every 2 weeks on Thursdays. And I remember I used to get into the hospital with 93 kilos. And the next day, on Friday, I leave the hospital with 103 kilos. Sometimes 105 kilos. And vomiting, feeling sick. And then after and the same day, as soon as I got at home, I washed the car. That's the only exercise I feel I could do it, because at any time I feel this, I put my hands on the car. And I have the water, was hot, I could all the time have a shower.
Yeah.
And I washed the car like 3-4 times to start to have some movements.
Really?
Yes. I washed the car 3-4 times. And then next day I was in the water surfing. And the following day I was training,
Wow.
That was tough times. But once again, just helped me to become better, just was amazing experience. And then after that, I moved back to UK, and that's when I moved to London.
Yeah.
And interesting time fact we could point in there was I compete the biggest tournament in the Rio de Janeiro, state of Rio. And I won my division, open division.
And this was whilst you were going through treatment?
Yes, that was a called sandwich, like between, we have to do chemo, radio, and chemo. You have to follow the protocol, right? So when I was doing the radiotherapy, I beat the cancer, but I had to follow the protocol. I should go back to do the radio, the chemo. So when I was doing the radiotherapy, I fought this tournament. And I remember I put a Dr. Alexandre just outside the mat. I didn't tell no one. Nobody knew it. I said, "Doctor, I just want to fight this tournament."
Yeah.
What? Why? Are you crazy? I say, it's very weird feeling. It seems like someone just closed the door of life for you. And then all of a sudden, when you into it there again, you back to the track, So I just want to feel it. I just want to feel that. I don't want to do more than one fight. I just want to get it there and look someone into the eyes, and he look at me, and I want to see he's scared of me. I want to look at him and feel like, wow, this guy, he can beat me.
Yeah.
Even though we shake hands and he kick my butt badly. I just want to have that feeling for 30 seconds to feel alive.
Yeah.
Then he said, okay, let's do that. So he spoke for the the organization so he could stay beside the mat and have his equipment, whatever happened. Because, when you do this type of treatment, your heart's working so hard to filter all that poison that you put into your body, So I could just, I don't know, whatever could happen there,
Yeah.
I was weak, my ligaments was weak, everything. So, and then for the first fight, and I won. I tapped the guy. And the second fight started, the pull guard, and the guy was trying to break my grip, and he could not break my grip. And my challenge was with me. I was like, I'm going to hold this grip, and let's see how long the guy going to break this grip. Oh, look at him. He cannot break my grip. Oh, finally break. Let's see how long I'm going to do guard here. And then I start to realize that I could do better than what I was expecting. And I won my second fight. Then the third fight, my kimono got stuck on my forearm. And that's when I was really close to Dr. Alexandre. And then when you're doing chemotherapy, if you guys doesn't know, your veins start to disappear. And I choose to don't put a catheter. It's a machine you put it here inside here close to go straight to the heart. I choose to don't do that so I could surf and train jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So all my treatment I was doing straight into my veins. So all my veins start to disappear. And because I have this gap between the chemo and the radio, I was just doing the radiotherapy, and I was fighting, my body was way more clean. And then the kimono got stuck, but I didn't see my veins for a long time. Then I was, when the grip, the arm got really big and all this, and all of a sudden my kimono got stuck on my forearm, and then I look into my veins, my arm, and I could see the whole veins. In the middle of the fight, I look into Dr. Alexandre's face, and I look into my arm. Without word, we knew what each other thinking. You
got the power back.
I say, man, I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm alive. How beautiful is that? I'm back on track. I'm here. And then I won my division. Somehow I won my division. Then I said, Dr. Alexandre, amazing, very good. Let's go home now. I say, no, I want to fight the open division. I say, why, Lagarto? Why? I say, man, I'm warm. I'm feeling good. Gonna fight the open division. 1 fight, 2 fight, 3 fight, final, and I won the open division as well. And then that's when people announce that I was with cancer, and that's when the people start realize it. And then after I did the radiotherapy, and I finish, and I back to UK, and thanks God I managed to overcome all these. I wonder, then I start to think about to compete again. Fought the first World Pro Cup, lost. Back, start training again. The following year, I fought, and then, if you doesn't know, I get a huge part of my life as I got 10 times my visa to America was denied. 10 times.
This was every time you tried to go to the World Championship.
Exactly. Every year was trying. Every time, boom, no, boom, no, boom, no. And I see guys that was just winning the Pan American and the Worlds and come to the European on my division, boom, I beat them here. This guy's double world champion. This guy does, and then I say, man, I'm missing the history, I'm not building up, I was feeling so frustrated, and I'm never going to be a world champion, a black belt. I need this for myself, And I said, you know what? In 2011, I'm going to train really, really hard to see what can I do, Bear in mind, bro, that the doctor, when I started to do the radiotherapy, he told me that, okay, you're going to do this treatment, but just to let you know, your competition life is over. you're not going to be able to have a child anymore. Just to let you know.
Wow.
And there is a big chance you to die.
Wow.
And this guy, he was really good at what he was doing, his radiotherapy and all this. He was point one of the best in Brazil. And then when he told me that, I laughed. I was like this. He told me this. They say, are you laughing? I say, I don't know why you telling me this. If you want to make me scared, you didn't. If you want to make me, if you want to take my hope away, you didn't. Give your best, I'm going to give my best. Then he say, no, I'm just telling you the truth. As a doctor, I have to tell you the truth. I say, okay, I appreciate, but you give your best, I'm going to give my best.
Yeah.
Whatever happened the way, it's a consequence of life.
Yeah.
You know, the only sure we have in this life, we're going to die one day.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to be now, maybe it's going to be later. But I'm going to try my best to be later. And he did a very good job. Thank him. You know, he did an amazing job. He was just very, he was not very good with his words, of his approach.
Yeah.
But he's an amazing professional, you know. And then I put a lot of time in 2011. Bear in mind, this year I was teaching 30 privates a week, seminars in the weekends, helping people a lot, you know. And I managed to win the European. My final against Rafael Lovato was a beautiful fight. I have a beautiful performance. And then I went to the Worlds to fight the World Pro Cup. And then when I look my brackets, was Xande Ribeiro, José Júnior, that's who they call Cientista, who lives in Abu Dhabi. He's a very tough boy, world-class man, you know. He beat a lot of big names. Marcos Bochecha, who was pointed to be the next Rodrigues. And other monsters there. And I look, it's my chance. Today is my chance. Xande Ribeiro, he took from me 3 chances to be a world champion back in Rio de Janeiro. I will speak with him. Xande, you are a nasty piece of work. Xande Ribeiro were good friends, and he took me the chance to be a world champion 3 times in Rio de Janeiro. And after, when the world moved to America, I never really had the chance to fight again. And I was completely, I knew that was my chance, but the jet lag, I was, you know, I was not feeling confident enough. I knew it was going to be a war. I knew it was going to be hard. And then I just going to warm up. I see how it goes and all this. And I'm telling you, man, I would not be able to win that. Even if all the hard training I put, if all the studs I did with Rodrigues, if all the training I did for my friend Fabio Prado, that is one of the best conditioners trainers I ever did. He studied so much, researched so much. He put so much time on me, you know. I remember I was teaching the class at Roger at the time, eating in the bus on the way to the condition. Get it there, man. My back was hurting. And then I get there, Fabio started to do mobility on my back so I could be able to do the training. Man, it was a very, very intense year, you know. And a lot of people, I could not do this without those guys, you know. But one guy in that day was super special. His name is Salim Bugofa.
I know Salim.
Salim. He's an amazing guy. People don't know that. People doesn't know that. So what happened, I was there and I told Salim, I'm going to fight the World Pro Cup. And I said, okay, no problem, I'm coming. He bought the ticket from his pocket, took the money from his pocket, bought the ticket, flew to Abu Dhabi, booked the hotel, and he was the whole week token on my ear. Lagarto, you know you can win that, right? Lagarto, you know you can win that, right? Listen, Lagarto, focus, you can win that. Like I say, Jesus, man, he believed more than myself, you know? And that's sometimes what you need in life. We need to believe. If you don't believe, man, like people, I want to be a world champ. What are you doing? Are you doing your homework? Or are you want to be a world champ, but are you waking up at 12 o'clock? You know? So, Salim, he was on my side all week. When got at the day, I was scared. Because I trained so much. And I was feeling jet lag. I was feeling nervous. I was feeling tired. He said, let's warm up, Lagarto. Let's warm up. Then he threw water on my head. Do you know when you start to warm up and you feel like lazy? I was feeling lazy.
Yeah.
But then he started to talk so much to me. He started to boost my energy so much when I realized I was pumping.
Yeah.
I was jumping all over. I say, I can do it. I can do it. That's when he started, my energy started to go down. I say, come on, Lagarto, you can do it. You can do it. Can do it. So he was the guy who was on my corner when I was fighting. And then, even just before, was me and Bochecha to get in the fight. Therefore, I won Jose Jr., then I beat Jose Jr., then I beat Shanji, and then final was me and Bochecha. When I was walking to fight against Bochecha in the final, just before the guys call us to go on the mat, I disconnect. Bam! Right there. And then Salim, Lagarto, look at me. Look at me, Lagarto. Look at me. You gonna win today. It's your day. Look at me. Can you understand that? Look forward. Look forward. It's your day. It's your day. You're gonna win. Then he got close to me and he didn't stop 1 second. 1 second. He was shouting the whole fight every second. And we managed. When I say we managed to win. I wouldn't do that if I was there by myself. He pushed me so much, so hard that I managed to write my name in the history as a world champion in the black belts after cancer, after the guy who didn't have the talents, after all the history we spoke about it. I wrote my name right there. I don't know how the history would be if I could be in America, you know? Now I got my visa, but it's way harder for me now.
Yeah.
You know, so many priorities. 38 years old, you know, the priorities change. I'm happy now to see my students doing that. But I wrote it. I wrote my name right there, you know? And doesn't matter. I could be here, talk so many names that won the world, that's twice world champion, came here and fought with me, and I beat them in the division and on the open division, you know? And how would it be? How many times? Imagine, I don't know, but I believe fighting 10 years, have the chance to fight for 10 years the worlds, at least, you know, I would have some other title to put in the history there, right? So that's what I can do, and that's, you know, I managed to do this, and I feel so happy for it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I knew that you'd struggled to get into the States, but I didn't realize it had been that bad.
Yes.
That you would, like, you know, as a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitor, your only goal is to win a Mundial's title, black belt adult. That is the ultimate. That is the you know, the Olympics of the gi. ADCC is the Olympics of no gi, and Mundial's gold medal is Olympics of gi. And the fact that had been taken for you, not because you weren't good enough, not because you couldn't make it, but because essentially political, you know, that you couldn't get a visa, you couldn't get inside, they rejected you at the border or whatever, and so many people, I think that they just go, if I can't go there, then I can never get that world championship. But being Marcus Bochecha, who is 12-time world champion, you know, in the final of the world championship, you know, you found a way around it and did it anyway. That's an awesome story.
That's amazing. I'm so proud. I'm
So
so proud of that.
Let me ask you something. Of all of your victories and the two ones that come to mind, which you've just spoken about, which was the most important for you? That beating Buchecha to get your version of the world championship that you couldn't do in America, or battling cancer secretly and winning weight in absolute in a much smaller tournament, but it meant a lot in a different way?
Very good question, my brother. I would say beat Buchecha was a big thing.
Yeah.
Especially the name he become. I remember after the tournament, he was in tears outside.
Yeah.
And I come behind the podium and I give him a big hug. And I say, my brother, you gonna be the man.
Yeah.
Today was my day, but you're gonna be the man. And I have so much respect for Buchecha. He's such a beautiful picture. He represents the jiu-jitsu so well, you know. He's a big. I'm really happy to manage to put this into my history. The way our names cross in the history, we are 10 years different between each other.
Yeah.
But the fact that I managed to beat Shandy, that was
another legendary character.
That's something that was really big for me.
Yeah.
Because Shandy was there winning, and I was look up to him. He took the titles from my hands. It's not like I beat Shandy, I'm so happy I pay back. No, it wasn't that. It was for me. You know, I managed to become a better version of myself. You know,
it was like with Braulio when he beat Jacare.
Exactly. Yes.
That was the biggest victory because Jacare had beaten him all those years, and he finally proved that he had improved enough to beat him.
Exactly. For the same reason, you know. And about the cancer, a lot of people think that was a really big battle, but I look at this as one of the most beautiful lessons that God could ever give me. That's helped me so much to boost my confidence in to try to be better and to try to help and spread this message around the world. There is so many people right now without any hope, not just about health, but about life. And I think God used me as an instrumental to talk to these people. And I have so many people who send me messages on my Instagram that I always answer them. I always try to help them, you know. And I think that's so beautiful. I think that's, you know, is fulfill me so much, you know. Like, if you think about it, brother, I was talking for my friend Gabriel Kitober. We talk a lot about the different things. Remember Gabriel? Yeah, Kitober. So Gabriel was a very tough guy, jiu-jitsu, but he always talk about deep things, right? If you think about it, long ago we used to have a lot of plagues that kill people, like virus. How they call plagues?
Plague,
plague, yeah. That killed thousands of people, right? Clean up the whole city, countries. And then we came to our days. What is the biggest plague in our day? It's our technology. We are constantly a slave of our own system. For example, a new study just come in the US. The last year, 120,000 people dying in US because of stress. So we never work so much as we working now.
Yeah.
Constantly, we wake up and already connected with Instagram, and we start feed our mind with all the thoughts. The consequence of this is an unhealthy life. The consequence of this is a comparison all the time. That guy have six packs, I don't have six pack. That woman have a big butt, but I don't have a big butt. The guy's on the beach, I'm here. Yeah, you know. Constant, look at the car of the guy, look at my car, all this. But what I notice is the cancer, as a lot of other disease, we build this up with the way how we think. And if you think about it, we get stressed so much. And if you ask, what's the difference that's going to make in 1 year time from now? Think about what you stressed you last month. Is that make any difference now? And it's so crazy because you stress so much. We think that, okay, let me put a lot of thoughts about it. We have that fake impression that's going to help somehow. Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be so worried about. Yes, yeah, that's not going to help. So I like that phrase. If you have some problem, can you do something about it? Do it, no stress. If you have some problem, can you do something about this? You cannot do it, don't stress. But to apply this into our life is way harder. And if you think about it, what's the real meaning of our life? Be happy. Live the day. Yesterday, we don't have anymore. Tomorrow, we don't know if it's going to really happen. But today, we do. So here to be here, sitting with you now, and I know somehow, someone right now would be on the tube, could be at the house, could be cooking and to feed the family, could be on the way to the training, could be into the car. Right now, we are touching someone's life. And I hope this gonna put it in a different mindset. You don't have to be sad. Life is beautiful. And you want you in this country. You want you in this world. We want you here with us. So don't think about it. Because there's so many times people get so suffocated, drawing in their own thoughts and their own problems that they want to give up. The only thing we need to think about to give up is to give up. You know? And there is no problem. There is challenges that one day you're going to see those challenges make you become a better version of yourself. Those challenges going to help you to help someone ahead. So it's very important that I learn with the cancer lesson. You know, that's what I want to share with all of you guys. A lot of people say, so the cancer was the big fight of your life? No, that was a present of God in my life that helped me to look at the life in a different perspective.
Lagarto, I don't think I could have ever predicted or ever thought that there could be a more beautiful way to end this podcast, man. So I just want to say we've done a couple of hours already and I just thought that was so awesome. So I'm going to leave it there. I want to thank you very, very much for coming on and sharing your story, which is an incredible story. And like you said, you know, a really inspiring story. Like you said, to have hope, to not get stressed about stuff, and to take a lot of inspiration from your own, your attitude and the way that you've handled the trying situations in your life and how successful you've become, not even after it, in spite of it, but almost because of it. So thank you very much for coming on, man.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. Can I leave a last message?
Absolutely.
As you know, Tayane Porfilios just jumped on board with us. Tayane is the best female.
Yeah, we were talking about her earlier, yeah.
Yes, the best female for all times. And she's trained with me in Fulham. And the idea to Tayane jump on board is to make the Jiu-jitsu, the European Jiu-jitsu, in the high level, female high level.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be teaching a seminar with her in the 18th. You can see on my Instagram, guys, Lagarto BJJ, on the Tayane Instagram. would be good if the girls, you could come to support Tayane. She doesn't know yet, but all the money of the seminar going to her. I just going to be there to support her and to help, to translate, to make her to feel welcome. So everyone around the UK, doesn't matter the team, come over and let's, give her that support.
Awesome, man. Love it, man. Thank you very much for coming on.
My pleasure,
I appreciate
brother.
It, bro. Thank you. That is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you want to find out more about Lagarto, if you want to follow him, you can check out his Instagram, which is at LagartoBJJ. If you want to go train with him, you can check out his academy, which is Gracie Barra Fulham. Thank you to our sponsors for today, Ape Nutrition. You can check them out for a delicious ketogenic bar, high protein, high fat, low carb at apenutrition.co.uk. Check out their Instagram, which is ape_nutrition. As always, if you want to get in contact with me or the podcast, then you can check me out. Best place is Instagram, but I'm also on Twitter at raspberry_ape. You can check out my website, which is raspberryape.com. You can email me if you want on the podcast, which is podcast@raspberryape.com. Check out my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/raspberryape. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you next time. Take it easy.